Alright, YouTube is serious. So, this is the abridged version of the last live stream we did, and we're trying to cut to the chase here and get the most important points out of patent number 2 that we found. This has to do a lot with how skill-based matchmaking actually functions, and of course, none of this is 100% fact, because I'm not in the back room with Joe Seaside and Tony Flame, but just use your critical thought and common sense and you make your decision on what you think's going on. So without further ado, let's just hop in. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. There's a whole lot of shit to get through, but that shout out to the homie Zach. He basically screenshotted a bunch of things for me to take a look at. They're the main points, so let's hop on in. Before we even get into this, be so kind to leave a like on the video. These are the most important ones that we make, and we're going to try to pump them out as fast as we can, even though it is difficult to do this because, as y'all see, 3-hour plus live streams are hard to get through. Especially without lifesavers, as I have one right now. So, oh boy. Poor performance of the first player during gameplay, the method further comprising causing one or more match scores for one or more potential matches to be adjusted higher based on the first tune value to increase a likelihood that the first player is matched with an easier opponent and or higher skilled teammates. Sound familiar? Do well one game, do horrible the next. In a constant loop. We've all been through it on Cold War. Now, this one also pertains to multiplayer. I want to emphasize that, as you can see right here. So the whole PVE argument and the PvP argument, we're going to cover that as well, because that's been the only real rebuttal that we've been getting, which isn't even conclusive, because the argument was that it was a target, but a target can be a NPC, it could be a computer, or it could be another player in matchmaking. But let's just continue. Multiplayer video games have exploded in popularity to date, in part to services such as Microsoft's Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. Multiplayer video game is a video game in which 2 or more players play in a gameplay session in a cooperative or adversarial relationship. At least one of the players may comprise a human player, PvP, while one or more other players may comprise either non-player characters and or non-human players. There you go. It's right there for all the PvEers. That's what you guys are. You're just saying, oh, it's just player versus environment. You know? There you go. It's telling you right here. Human player. Matchmaking. Some systems may automatically group or match players based solely on a limited number of hard-coded characteristics, skill level, which are not dynamically adjusted, which means dynamically means it doesn't change. Such systems may create a hard set of segregated pools of players. For example, in some conventional systems, a player who is a certain skill level may never be matched with a player at a higher skill level, which may result in one-dimensional and unsatisfying gameplay. Does that sound like Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War? I'll let y'all respond in the comments section below. The invention addressing these and other drawbacks relates to a matchmaking system, and the method that facilitates optimization of player matches for multiplayer video games. The system may provide a generalized framework for matchmaking using historical player data and analytics. The framework may facilitate automatic determinations of an optimal mix of players and styles to produce more satisfying player experiences. Additionally, the system may dynamically update analytical processes based on statistical or otherwise observed data related to gameplay at a given time. In this manner, the system may continually tune the matchmaking process based on observations of player behavior, gameplay quality, and their other information. They're literally telling you, if you're in that tier, in the previous slide, you ain't moving. This is for everyone else, the majority. This is why they're having a quote-unquote good time. And people like me and the majority of people who watch this channel are not. While aspects of the invention may be described with reference to various game-level modes, characters, roles, game items associated with the FPS game, it should be appreciated that any such examples are for illustrative purposes only and are not intended to be limiting. The matchmaking system and method described in detail herein may be used in any genre of multiplayer video game without limitation. Meaning this can be, if Activision has their name on it, you can bet your ass that this is a possibility of this type of system to be integrated into it. Any game. It says it right here. Any genre. Not just FPS. In one implementation of the invention, the system may include a scoring engine that identifies a potential match. As used herein, the term match refers to a matching of 2 or more players, rather than a contest. For example, a potential match refers to a potential grouping of 2 or more players. The engine may obtain 1 or more variables used to generate a match score for the potential match. The 1 or more variables may include without limitation a latency between players, ping, a relative skill level, a presence of preferred players, team composition, play styles, a time that a given player has been waiting to be in a match, player preference, whether a player is involved in a soft reservation, and we'll get to what that is in a second, and other information used to assess a potential match. So this is all this is how the system is essentially working you into a lobby. That's what they're describing here. The system may determine whether to select a potential match for gameplay based on its match score. For example, the system may compare the match score for the potential match with a threshold match score. If the match score meets or exceeds the threshold match score, the system may select the corresponding potential match for gameplay. So in other words, there's multiple tiers here. If you're going beyond and outside of the tier, if you're the outlier, that's why you're getting screwed over. All right? If you're going too hard for the system and you go out of bounds of what this quote-unquote set score should be allegedly predetermined for the given match that you're going to be in, this is why you get thrown into lobbies where you all of a sudden can't get kills, because it has to bring you back down to meet this quote-unquote corresponding data. That's just my take on it. Remember, all of this is just alleged. A game designer or others may assign a default value to a given coefficient based on the game designer's opinion of the relative importance of a corresponding match variable. Let me read that one again. A game designer, I'm going to read it to you differently. A developer or others may assign a default value to a given coefficient based on the dev's opinion of the relative importance of a corresponding match variable. They can do whatever they want. Joe Csat, Tony Flame, David Vondar, they can do whatever the hell they want. It's up to them. They can choose what's deemed as important in the match, in their given game. A coefficient may be tuned by changing its default value. Coefficients may be tuned in various ways and by various parties to respond to preferences, changing game conditions, and or other information. In this manner, the scoring engine may determine match scores based on constantly changing or dynamically changing information and adjust the matchmaking process accordingly. See that? They're literally telling you that based on what happens from player to player, the coefficient, and we're going to get to what those can be later on, can change at any given time. And it's going to toss you in different lobbies based on this coefficient. That's what they're telling you right here. And this is happening dynamically. It's constantly changing. It's a computer. It's a constant loop. In some implementations, the scoring engine may automatically tune the coefficients based on changing circumstances, game history, and other analytical data. For example, if a player has previously shown dissatisfactions with another player by rage quitting, the engine may place more weight on a player simpatico over the other preferences such as map or comparable skill. I don't know exactly what that means, but let's just continue because they explain all of this. In another example, if a player has been performing poorly, getting killed at a rate higher than the player's historical rate, the scoring engine might dynamically adjust 1 or more coefficients to match the player in a game that will improve the player's performance. There you have it. For example, the player may be matched with easier opponents, matched with teammates that historically resulted in better match outcomes, and are placed in a game that is more tailored to the player's preferences. For example, players that play in games more closely aligned with their preferences tend to perform better. This ain't me, it's Activision, folks. Let's just keep going. We got a lot to get through. To fine-tune the matchmaking process, the system may include an analytics and feedback engine that analyzes player and match data to determine whether a given match was good. A match may be deemed, quote, good when a player is determined to have enjoyed gameplay associated with the match based on 1 or more quality factors that are used as a proxy for player satisfaction. The quality factors may include, for example, a duration of a gameplay session, player expressed psychological state, their frustration level, and a premature exit from the game, rage quitting. So they're tracking everything. They're literally tracking everything. But it's funny. So if you get frustrated, right, allegedly that's a bad thing. So if Timmy gets frustrated, we're just going to make the game easier for him. He doesn't ever have to improve. As long as he keeps buying those Warzone skins, it's all good. And we're going to get to that later too. We're going to get to the skins. You guys are going to have a field day. Some of you are. I'm going to say most of you are. Some of you are going to question, my credibility, but it is what it is. The analytics and feedback engine may analyze player data to determine the player style or role that is most effective for the player based on historical information. For example, the engine may determine that a player is most effective or otherwise most enjoys playing as a sniper. Oh boy, don't you love snipers in this game? Aren't they so balanced? Which may cause matchmaking to skew towards matches where the player may play in a sniper role. Is it getting juicy for you? According to an aspect of the invention, the system may include a pipelining engine that may generate one or more soft reservations for a player based on a match score, gamer profile, player profile, and other information. Now, this soft reservation may comprise a match between 2 or more players, or for one or more subsequent gameplay sessions that are reserved for the players. The match may be generated as described herein. The engine, for example, may anticipate an interest by players in a gameplay session and make a soft reservation for 2 or more players. For example, a soft reservation may be generated before the players have expressed an interest in the subsequent sessions. Without limitation, the engine may analyze a game progression of a player, which may be stored in a player profile-based matchmaking, and predict a game mode, for example, capture the flag, that will likely interest the player. The engine may then make a soft reservation for a player for a gameplay session that includes the game mode. In the meantime, the first player can continue to wait until 2 friends are available or may join a gameplay session that the engine determines will likely finish at approximately the same time that the 2 friends' gameplay session is expected to finish. In other words, the engine may help synchronize the 3 friends' gameplay sessions so that they may play together for the rest of the gaming session. This is why you get thrown into games that have already started. Don't you love when that happens? I hate it. I know most of you guys do. I'm being sarcastic here. I'm trying to inject some type of humor into this. For example, the engine may determine that 2 friends will complete their session in 10 minutes and may match the first player into a session that is expected to be complete in 10 minutes. In this manner, all 3 friends may be expected to become available at approximately the same time. The matchmaking system and method may be leveraged in various contexts, such as to influence game-related purchases, recommend a composition of groups of players, train or identify non-player characters, NPCs that should be used under other contexts. But this is one to pay attention to. Influence game-related purchases, microtransactions, folks, loot boxes, battle passes, treasure boxes, skins, you name it. DLC, folks, downloadable content. In one implementation, the system may include a microtransaction engine that arranges matches to influence game-related purchases. For instance, the microtransaction engine may match a more expert/marquee player with a junior player to encourage the junior player to make game-related purchases of items possessed or used by the marquee player. A junior player may wish to emulate the marquee player by obtaining weapons or other items used by the marquee player. Y'all can pause the video and read that one back if you want. It's right here in front of you. For all the people saying this shit don't exist, I don't know what to tell you. They're literally telling you how they do it. They're telling you in plain sight how they do it. The microtransaction engine may analyze various items used by marquee players, and if the items are being promoted for sale, match the marquee player with another player, a junior player, that does not use or own these items. Similarly, the engine may identify items to be promoted, identify marquee players that use those items, and match the marquee players with other players who do not use those items. In this manner, the microtransaction engine may leverage the matchmaking abilities described here to influence purchase decisions for game-related purchases. Sorry, guys. Am I reaching you now? Am I reaching you with the PVE and the PvP? Am I reaching you with the MTX? Am I reaching you with the multiplayer? It's here. And the link of this patent will be in the description, as per usual. In one implementation, the engine may target particular players to make game-related purchases based on their interests. For example, the microtransaction engine may identify a junior player to match with a marquee player based on a player profile of the junior player. Profile-based matchmaking. In a particular example, the junior player may wish to become an expert sniper in the game, as determined from the player profile phase up. You can do it too. Everything's about sniping. I don't know why. I don't know what Von der Hart's obsession is with sniping, dude. MTX engine may match the junior player with a player that is a highly skilled sniper in the game. In this manner, the junior player may be encouraged to make game-related purchases such as a rifle or other item used by the marquee player. And if you think this is the end of the whole sniping thing, you haven't seen shit yet. Just you wait. It gets much worse than this. In one implementation, when a player makes a game-related purchase, the MTX engine may encourage future purchases by matching the player using matchmaking, okay? PVE, matchmaking, PvP, player versus player, matchmaking, in a gameplay session that will utilize the game-related purchase. Doing so may enhance the level of enjoyment by the player for the game-related purchase, which may encourage future purchases, more profit, more skins. For example, if the player purchased a particular weapon, the MTX engine may match the player in a gameplay session in which the particular weapon is highly effective, giving the player an impression that the particular weapon was a good purchase. You see this shit? So you'd think all those videos I've done about snipers are a joke, because I see the comments from some people. It's not many, but it's some. You think it's a joke? You think it's a coincidence that these guys can shoot over here and it's somehow a headshot on my player model? If the player purchased a particular weapon, the engine may match the player in a session in which the particular weapon is highly effective. Come on, man. This may encourage the player to make future purchases to achieve similar gameplay results. Oh, buy more, do better. What do we call this? Pay to win. It's not competitive, it's not fair, but it makes Activision money. The system may identify optimal groups based on matchmaking-related information such as without limitation, game profile, player profile, purchases made, player styles, preferences, prior match scores, quality scores, or other information. Optimal groups may be those that have performed successfully, most wins, objectives, etc., and are associated with the highest player enjoyment. So this is where we're going to get into how this little computer thing, this is pretty much how skill-based matchmaking, or whatever you want to call it, really, this is kind of a breakdown of how it actually works. So figure 5 is talking about depicting the process of providing statistical matchmaking for multiplayer video games according to the implementation of the computer, which is the invention, or the AI, whatever you want to call it. Figure 6 depicts a process of analyzing matchmaking scores and feedback to fine-tune the matchmaking process according to the implementation of the computer. And Figure 8 depicts a process of influencing in-game purchases through targeted matchmaking according to the implementation of the computer. The system may generate a match, now referred to in engaging in matchmaking, PvP, between 2 or more players, 1 or more human players, and their 1 or more non-player characters. So, both human players, PvP, non-player characters, NPCs, PvE, player versus the environment. So it's both. I don't want to hear it anymore. It's right here in front of you. In some instances, the match, if accepted by the match players, may result in the initiation of a gameplay session that includes the match players. In other instances, the match may result in automatic initiation of a gameplay session without intervention or specific action taken by a matched player to accept the match. System 100 may be used to score potential matches and determine which match will likely lead to positive gameplay outcomes for the match players. For example, System 100 may generate matches that are predicted to result in greater performance by the match players, result in greater satisfaction/enjoyment by the match players, and or otherwise will lead to positive gameplay outcomes for the match players. System 110 may be configured as a, quote, gaming console, a handheld gaming device, personal computer, a desktop, a laptop, a smartphone, a tablet, a smart television, and or any other device that can be used to interact with an instance of a video game. So this computer thing, this AI program, algorithm, can be implemented any goddamn where. Depending on the system configuration, a matchmaking application may be part of a game application, which creates a game instance to facilitate gameplay. Alternatively, or additionally, matchmaking application 120 may run on a device such as a server to determine matches for users in an online game hosted by a server. It's right here in front of you. Peripherals 140 may be used to obtain an input, direct input, measured input from a player. They may include without limitation a game controller, a gamepad, a keyboard, a mouse, an imaging device such as a camera, a motion sensing device, a light sensor, a biometric sensor, and there are other peripheral devices that can obtain an input relating to a player. So they're literally taking into account every click, every movement on your analog. It's literally taking into account every freaking thing you do as a player. And the higher skilled you are, the worse it is for you. Because you have, if you're like me, you have a shit ton of inputs. All my sliders out there and all the sweats, you know what I'm talking about. So, that's just not sweats. All the competitors, you know what I'm talking about. Now, here's some real sorcery. This is where the sorcery kind of starts to begin, and it's going to get much worse towards the end. The various components illustrated in Figure 1 may be coupled to at least one other component via a network, which may include any one or more of, for instance, the Internet, an intranet, a PAN, personal area network, a LAN, local area network, a WAN, wide area network, a SAN, storage area network, a MAN, metropolitan area network, a wireless network, a cellular communication network, a public switch telephone network, and or other network. Furthermore, according to various implementations, the components described herein may be implemented in hardware and or software that configure hardware. So, for Call of Duty, this garbage can affect LAN. Now, to prove that would be damn near impossible. But the point of the matter is, it's still possible that this can occur. And this is what I've been trying to get at with you guys recently, because I'm all about competition. I want to be a pro. That's what I want. That's why I'm doing this, to make sense of all this garbage. If this crap can happen on LAN, could you imagine the implications if any of this was proven, that this actually occurred in a professional event? Come on, man. Where the pros at, bro? Where y'all at? I know you pros I know somebody had to have seen something by now. I know y'all had to have seen it. So once again, this can happen on any gameplay network, PlayStation or Xbox, PC servers, it doesn't matter. The one or more match variables may relate to at least one player's characteristic that may influence whether a player enjoys gameplay while placed in a match. For example, and without limitation, a match variable may include a latency between players. For example, a delay time for data communication between players' gaming systems or platforms such that lower latency is preferentially matched, which makes sense. A player's skill level, a team composition, a presence or absence of preferred players, a time that a player has waited to be matched, a location of a player, which is players geographically close to one another may be preferentially matched, one or more explicit user preferences received from a player and or other variables. A given match variable may be associated with a corresponding coefficient that indicates the level of importance of that given match variable. The game designer or others may assign a default value to one or more coefficients. For example, a match variable related to a composition of a team may by default be more important than a match variable related to latency and may therefore be weighted more heavily when generating a match score. Let me get back to that one because I kind of read that fast. Listen. A game designer, a dev, Tony Flame, Joe Seaside, insert Call of Duty, your favorite COD dev here, or others, may assign a default value to one or more coefficients, which the coefficient is the area of importance that whoever it is, whoever decides what the important thing is and how the match will be, formed. For example, a match variable related to a composition of a team for example, a match variable related to a composition of a team may, by default, be more important than a match variable related to latency. So, team balancing is, quote-unquote, more important than ping. Oh, really? Really, Tony? Joe? Oh my god, bro. This shit is stressful just reading this bullshit. It may therefore be weighted more heavily when generating a match score, which is that threshold that we talked about earlier. This is why your matches are borderline unplayable in the ping that you receive. In another example, the player may tune a coefficient related to game roles to be high, and set a value of a match variable related to the game roles to be a, quote, sniper. And they love sniping, I swear, dude. This has got to be a Treyarch thing. These guys just love it. In this example, potential match in which the player would play using a sniper role, example, those matches where a sniper role is possible or otherwise available, will have a higher match score than a potential match in which the player would not play as a sniper role. Do y'all see the shit that's in front of you? Okay? If you need to pause here, and I'm going to take a screenshot just because I need to tweet this one out, bro. Send this one out, okay? Let me read this one again. In another example, the player may tune a coefficient related to game roles to be high, and set to a value of a match variable related to game roles to be a sniper. In this example, a potential match in which the player would play using a sniper role will have a higher match score than a potential match in which the player would not play as a sniper role. They're literally telling you that they are giving priority to some dude who's probably trash just because he has a gun in his hand. And this is how the match, this is a quote variable for creating a match. In this manner, the player may indicate a preference for being matched in a gameplay session in which the player plays as a sniper role. You kidding me? This is what we're playing. This is what we're playing. According to an aspect of the invention, scoring engine 122 may tune one or more coefficients based on changing circumstances, game history, and or other analytical data. If a given player has performed poorly during previous game sessions, the engine may adjust one or more coefficients for the player such that gameplay becomes easier for the player. For example, if the player has been getting killed at a rate higher than the player's historical rate, the engine may dynamically tune a coefficient associated with a match variable related to skill level to match him with easier opponents, higher skilled collaborative team members, game sessions that are more suited to the player's gameplay style, aka a map that, favors snipers because they just love snipers, and other things that can affect the outcome of a match score. Can we stop it, please? I'm screenshotting this one. You know why? Because this is just out of freaking control. This is patent number 2. Patent number 1 told you that they were actually doing it. Okay? This is telling you how they were doing it. I can't, dude. We're gonna read this again. If a given player has performed poorly during a session, the engine may adjust one or more coefficients. Oh, what are the coefficients? Could aim assist be a coefficient? Could hit detection be a coefficient? Could player health be a coefficient? Could visibility be a coefficient? Could a spawn be a coefficient? It could be whatever the hell the damn game developer, or the game designer decides. They can do whatever the freak they want to do. Whatever they want. In real time, mind you. In real time. That's what this computer can do. They're telling you here, don't take it from me. It's right here in front of you, bro. Craziness, man. Again, this is what we're playing. Oh my goodness. Scoring engine 122 may also tune the one or more coefficients based on system requirements unrelated to user preferences or game design. For example, the engine may determine that a load on a given server that offers minimal latency compared to other servers need to be reduced and load balanced onto another server with greater latency. Y'all see this shit? I'm screenshotting this one too. We got tweets and DMs just coming right up from my people, bro. Let me read that again. The scoring engine, or the AI, may determine that a load on a given server that offers low ping compared to other servers needs to be reduced and load balanced onto another server with high ping. In this scenario, the engine may adjust the coefficient related to latency match to the latency match variable so that latency is disregarded or its importance in generating a match score is diminished for potential matches that would have been hosted by the given server. In another example, scoring engine 122 may determine that a given server is associated with a higher network cost and should be avoided. Scoring engine 122 may adjust coefficients for match variables that may affect whether a potential match will play on a given server in order to minimize or eliminate matches that will use the given server. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Literally telling you, we gotta balance the load, aka the threshold, which would be the top score in the game. They don't want you to go over a certain score. They don't want you high-skilled players getting 50 bombs anymore. They barely want you getting 40. And they're telling you right here how they do it. We're going to put you in a higher ping lobby when you should be in a low one. It's just this computer here is just running roughshod over all of us. All of us being the high-skilled players. Timmies don't care about this. For instance, a match variable related to latency may be associated with a value of something. In this case, latency is considered to be, quote, good for the group of players in the potential match. In other words, latency between devices associated with the group of players is considered to be low. The precise translation between the actual latency measurement, which may be measured in milliseconds, and a value of a match variable may be made using a predefined translation scale. Other match variables may be similarly translated from corresponding raw measurements of data. A value of the coefficient corresponding to the match variable related to latency may be set by default or tuned to 0.1, indicating a relatively low importance relative to other coefficients. So this thing is basically saying that in determining a match, latency is going to be somehow thrown around, as opposed to being option number 1, which is what it always should be. Connection should be number 1 priority over everything. at all times, especially in Call of Duty, because Call of Duty doesn't have dedicated servers. So the connection's already shoddy because most people on the internet can't even handle it. We're telling you that it's on a weighted scale, which is BS. In an implementation of the invention, the engine may score a match based on emulating match variables that are used to match players who are experiencing actual conditions similar to virtual or game conditions. And this is where it just gets batshit crazy. For instance, an external match variable may include, without limitation, a time of day, weather conditions, trending news, and or other environmental or contextual information. I told you it was going to get freaking out of control in here. Completely out of control. Let me just reread that again so y'all can hear it a second time. In an implementation of the invention, the engine may score a match based on emulating match variables that are used to match players who are experiencing actual conditions similar to virtual or game conditions. Shout out Steph Glizzy. If you've watched this far in the video, you know exactly what I'm referring to. Your map video on Crossroads was not far-fetched at all. For instance, an external match variable may include, without limitation, a time of day, weather conditions, trending news, and or other environmental or contextual information. This is beyond video games at this point. This is bordering freaking social engineering, if you ask me. Use of the time of day of external match variable may take into account a virtual time of day with actual time of day for potential players. For example, scoring engine may favor matches that include players from actual physical locations that correspond to nighttime, as determined based on the geographic location, current time, and sunset time for a gameplay session involving a nighttime game or scene. Use of the weather conditions may be similarly used as well. Shout out Steph Glizzy. Is it snowing in New York? Let me know. Example, snow scenes in a gameplay session may be used to match players having actual physical snow at their geographic location. In this manner, players may be matched that are experiencing similar environmental conditions as other players and in-game environmental conditions, more fully immersing such players in a given gameplay session. I need a screenshot of this one. Jesus Christ. If y'all didn't like the video, please like the video. Oh Lord. We need another 1,000 like video on this one. Y'all went crazy with the first one. Let's get it with this one too, bruh. Good gravy. Use of trending news or other contextual information may take into account such contextual information. For instance, scoring engine may be used to emulate current events at a location. A high-profile police chase occurring at a particular city may be used to match players interested in racing games or match players who live in the particular city. In this manner, the emulating match variables may be used to generate match scores to emulate current events or other contextual information. I told y'all it was going to get goofy. Oh, scoring engine 122 may select a potential match based on match scores. For example, scoring engine 122 may determine whether a match score exceeds a predefined threshold. Okay, this is what we talked about earlier. The predefined match score may be determined as a function of wait time. For example, scoring engine may lower the threshold match score, assuming higher match scores are associated with higher match quality, when a given player has been waiting to be matched for a predetermined period of time. You hear this? When a given player has been waiting to be matched for a predetermined period of time. So when you're in the lobby waiting, it's by design. At least that's what they're saying here. In some instances, the system may progressively lower the threshold match score as the player continues to wait to be matched until the player is eventually matched. In this manner, the system may allow a player to be matched using lower quality matches as the player has been waiting to be matched. Out of control, bro. If multiple potential matches are being considered, scoring engine may automatically select the potential match having the highest match score, automatically select a potential match based on aggregate potential matches randomly. Randomly select a potential match that exceeds the threshold match score, present one or more potential matches that exceed the threshold match score to the player for selection, and or present all potential matches to the player for selection. In one implementation of the invention, the system may assess possible matches driven through rules or machine learning heuristics that facilitate searching various permutations of potential matches in reasonable time. Pretty much, for example, the system may filter out unfavorable matches and unfavorable combinations of players, aka higher skilled players from middle skilled players and lower skill level players. In particular, if players A and B are deemed to be incompatible because one guy's way better than the other one, the system may ignore or not consider any potential matches involving players A and B, probably the guys who are up the street from me, who I would have good ping with. But I can't play with them because of this goddamn computer. Quality factors include, without limitation, a player quitting the match or gameplay session while their players are still playing, which is dissatisfaction. Duration of a game session. Longer duration may indicate greater satisfaction. That's not true at all. A gameplay performance factor, kill-to-death ratio in a shooter game, a lap time in a racing game, or greater performance may indicate greater satisfaction. See what I said earlier? Any freaking game. When I say, they said it. Not limited to FPS. Any multiplayer game. Matchmaking, by the way, as well as player versus environment. So it's both. We're not even playing the video games anymore, as White Boy 7th Street says, they playing us. A player engagement factor, speed of a player input, a level of focus as determined from camera peripherals, etc., where greater engagement may indicate greater satisfaction. So you telling me you looking through my camera watching me like rage and get pissed off because I'm peeled looking at my screen, because I'm sat here because my aim's getting dragged off target and my game is dropping frames, seemingly dropping frames, and I can't kill people who have burger movement, and you guys are watching me? Y'all need help, bro. A competition level of a game, whether lopsided or not, where evenly matched games may indicate greater satisfaction. You see this shit? This is bullshit. Where evenly matched games may indicate greater satisfaction. Really? Wouldn't that be ranked play and not public match? It's all manipulation, bro. This should be ranked play. That's for the top 1 to 5% of people, if that. And even professionals play public match, dude. Like, everybody, without public match, Call of Duty's a dead game. It's so hard to make content, bro. It's so hard to just have an enjoyable experience when public matches becomes unplayable. And it's unplayable this year, and it was unplayable last year. But it gets better. A biometric factor. Facial expressions, pulse, body language, sweat. You can't make it up. Literally, sweat. I'm screenshotting this one, too. Explicit feedback from a player, surveys, and or other observable metrics related to gameplay. They are literally telling you how they do it. I told y'all we were going to go hard, bro. In some implementations of the invention, analytics and feedback engine may determine a quality score based on one or more business factors that describe a business value derived from a given gameplay session. For example, and without limitation, a business factor may include a business concern such as an amount of revenue derived from a given gameplay session, number or amount of in-game purchases, number of impressions of an advertisement or other ad-based revenue stream, a level of a customer engagement, and or other information that can be used to assess the level of value derived from a given gameplay session. It should be noted that Analytics and Feedback Engine 124 may generate a quality score based on a combination of one or more quality factors, and one or more business or customer engagement factors may be used as well. Brother. I got too many screenshots from this, bruh. Shoutouts to Zach. This guy did an excellent job with this shit. Oh, so this is more profile-based matchmaking, player profiles and how they're generated. Engine may generate a game profile for a gameplay session based on gameplay information, which may be monitored and or otherwise obtained by Analytics and Feedback Engine 124. Gameplay info may describe various game characteristics of a gameplay session. That may include, without limitation, number of players, types of roles, of course snipers, types of in-game items or purchased, weapons, vehicles, armor, custom suits, custom paint, skins, tires, engine modifications, composition of teams or clans, map or game levels played, battle zones, racetracks, sporting arenas. Like I said, again, I have to repeat, any game. It's not just first-person shooter. Duration of gameplay of a given session, player skill levels, player styles, aggressive, prefers to be a sniper, and other information related to a gameplay session. So this one's not highlighted, but it is important. For example, player information may include, without limitation, a style of gameplay, aggressive, a role preference, a role actually played, a duration of gameplay sessions, a number of gameplay sessions played in a given session, a login session. So when you turn on your damn console or whatever your device is, in-game items used to be purchased by the player, membership in a clan or team, preference to play with clanmates or friends, demographic info, win-loss records, scores, and other given information that be used to determine whether a player will enjoy a given gameplay session, a match, or a game. Again, it's all being tracked. The whole thing, bro. Every little thing you do. Alright, continuing, this is the profile-based stuff. And this is how your profile is pretty much formed and how they, pull it together. Information from a player profile may be indexed by time. For example, foregoing player info may include all player information known about a player, a subset of all information related to the last day, week, month, previous number of game sessions, logins, etc. In this manner, a player profile may relate to all-time gameplay of the player. All time. All time. It says here, all time. This is the first time you played COD. A lot of you guys probably over a decade ago. Recent gameplay, the time of day. Player may be associated with different player profiles at different times of the day, such as having an aggressive playstyle during evening hours. That's funny. That's funny right there. And a more relaxed playstyle during morning hours, and or other subset. As we continue, it says, profile may include certain characteristics that are correlated with a high-quality gameplay session for a given game, a particular combination of role types, 4 snipers, 6 running gunners, and 4 resource campers. You can't make that shit up. The fuck is a resource camper, homie? That's another screenshot. This is just pure entertainment at this point. It's education, but it's also entertainment. What the fuck is a resource camper? I can't, bro. Give me a break. So other info from these profiles can also be used. Different permutations and combinations of game profile and player profile information may be correlated with quality scores so that matches align with high quality scores. For example, a combination of types of game maps and player styles may be correlated with high-quality scores based on observations of gameplay sessions having different game maps and player styles. The combination may be used to identify match variables and or tune coefficients in a manner that leads to higher match scores for the matches that include the combination of game maps and player styles. In this manner, Analytics and Feedback Engine 124 may provide an automated process to provide feedback on a match score generation. All of this shit is predetermined. Literally, they're telling you they're predetermining every last little freaking thing. Over and over and over again. In an implementation using subsets of the player profile information, Analytics Feedback Engine 124 may tune matchmaking in real time for a given player. Oh boy. There we have it again, folks. In real time. For example, if a player is determined to be on a losing streak within the past several sessions, the engine may cause a coefficient related to player skill level to become more important. This may result in, for example, the player being pitted against lower skilled opponents and or teamed with higher skilled players to increase the chance that the player will win or otherwise perform better. Screenshotted, aka rigged. It's not real, man. Oh my goodness. And this is more info on the microtransactions, of course. So, according to the aspect of the invention, the MTX engine may arrange matches to influence game-related purchases. Purchases may include an acquisition by a player of an item in exchange for a fee, such as a real currency fee, a virtual currency fee, and or other type of fee. The item may include an in-game item, a power-up, a virtual vehicle, extra life, an extended life, a new level or map, downloadable content, DLC, and or other item that may be used in relation to a game. For example, the engine may match a more expert or marquee player or otherwise influential player. Clan leader? No, Twitch streamer. There we go. Insert Twitch streamer with a junior player, Timmy, to encourage the junior player to make game-related purchases. Skins. A junior player may wish to emulate a marquee player. They're not marquee. They're fucking streamers, bro. Come on, bro. By obtaining weapons and other items used by the marquee player, other types of pairings and other groupings of players may be used as well. The engine may analyze various items used by streamers, and if at least one of the skins is currently being offered for sale in the PlayStation Store, with or without a promotion, match the streamer. Well, they're not going to do that, but they'll match a player who has purchased that thing with another player, a junior Timmy, that does not use or own the item. The engine may identify the items for sale, identify the player, the marquee player that has the item, and match the marquee players with the other players who do not have the item. In this manner, the engine may leverage the matchmaking abilities described to influence purchase decisions for game-related purchases and other screenshots. Oh my god. Twitter is going to be all over the place tonight. I can tell you guys that right now. I know it's been a long video, but it is what it is. It's not 3 hours, so I'm going to try to make these shorter, but this is the best I could do for this one. I'm living and I'm learning, so bear with me. Oh, my MTX engine 128 may target particular players to make game-related purchases based on their interests. For example, the engine may identify a junior Timmy to match with a marquee player based on a player profile of the junior player. In particular, the junior player may wish to become, what do you know, an expert sniper, as determined from his profile. So I guess they all have phase in their profile, allegedly. Microtransaction engine 128 may match the junior player with a player that is a highly skilled sniper in the game. In this manner, the junior player may be encouraged to make game-related purchases such as a rifle or other item used by the highly skilled sniper. Highly skilled sniper. More like highly cheese sniper is getting my enlarged hitbox. It doesn't even have to hit the target to get a damn kill anymore. Oh, when a player makes a game-related purchase, the engine may encourage future purchases by matching the player in a session that will utilize the game-related purchase. Doing so may enhance the level of enjoyment by the player for the game-related purchase, which may encourage future purchases. And hold on, excuse me, let me not cut this one off. If the player purchased a particular weapon, the engine may match the player in a session in which the particular weapon is highly effective, giving the player an impression that the particular weapon was a good purchase. An impression. What's an impression? Not the real thing. Oh man. This may encourage the player to make, what do you guess it, future purchases to achieve similar gameplay results. Not making it up. That's another screenshot, folks. That is another screenshot. Good grief. Y'all can pause this one if you want. This isn't really that important because we already went over this, bro. It could be either or. It's not just PVE. It's also PvP. It could be both. We went over this already. It's ridiculous, man. PVE. Oh, come on, J-God. And that is it. So I know it was a long one. We're back to the beginning here. I'll leave the link to the patent in the description. Like I said, you got to bear with me. I'm still learning how to do this efficiently. Somebody left a comment telling me I should make shorter videos when we go clip to clip from the streams. I think that's what we're going to do. That way more people see them. And yeah, if you didn't already, if you watched the entire video, please leave a like. Try to get this one to 1,000 and up because these are the videos that can help change the game. Regardless of what any person says, this is on the internet. It's put here in front of you. It's not 100% proven fact in any way, shape, or form, but it is here in front of you. And a lot of you guys who come to my channel are skilled enough players to have seen these types of things occurring in front of you in real time on your screen. And you question as to why it's happening. Well, here's why. Here's at least a damn good, explanation for why it's happening. So that's all. We're going to be on this. I'm going to be pretty much doing this nonstop, until we freaking get somewhere, man. Because this is ridiculous. So I appreciate you guys for being supportive of this channel and of this movement right now. Let's just get gaming fixed, man. It don't have to be so trash. Might have to drop COD for a while, which we're going to talk about in the near future, but it is what it is. This was a long video. I'm not going to carry it out any longer. Do something if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Peace.